I don't think I've ever, well, I know I've never done what some people would call a tabletop review. All of my videos thus far are just me shooting out in the mountains of Utah. But you might be wondering what that is. That is the victory belt buckle that you get when you win the accuracy challenge on the Backfire channel. So I couldn't sleep because I'm coming down with a cold. It's about 5:30 in the morning on Monday, so about 3 days removed from the accuracy challenge, which took place September 26, 2025, about 7 a.m. down just west of Cedar City, Utah. So there were 4 other competitors, and this is the setup that I used to win. So this is just a Tikka T3X Super Varmint that I put in an MDT ACC Premier chassis. And nothing's been done to the trigger. It's just been dialed down, I think, all the way. And it's about 1 1/4 pull. It's got Night Force Attacker, 7 to 35 by 56 and a spur mount. I can't say enough good things about the Night Force Attackers, the 7 to 35 by 56 variety. And this one has the Mill XT reticle, which I love. The spur mount that it's sitting in, I used to be a big fan of, but I decided I was going to shoot this rifle the day before the contest. I had been working in Wyoming for a week, came back Wednesday night, mounted this scope, took it off my Barrett MRAD, mounted it on this rifle the evening of Wednesday. Then the following day, I went to Price, Utah on Thursday, and just wanted to make sure that this thing was still grouping as good as I thought it was, and confirm some of my holds at 800 and 1,000. Because I actually wanted to true the ballistic coefficient. And I was using the Horus ballistic app. So when I was out there, there was probably about a 19-mile-an-hour tailwind. And it was later in the day, so it was in the 80s. I'm not sure. We'll just say 85 degrees. So it was a bit hot, way hotter, because the contest was actually pretty cold Friday morning. When I drove there, I think some of the temperatures got down as low as 47 degrees. And the elevation is probably, I would imagine it's at least 2,000 feet higher in Price than it is in Cedar City. I'd have to look and confirm that. But I was getting 1,000-yard hits right at 7 mils. So, and here's the other thing. So the ammo I was using right there, Berger Elite Hunter 140 grain. Well, I only had 2 boxes of it. I had only put 2 boxes of it through this rifle before and was getting 1/2-inch groups. And that's why I was tempted to get some more of that ammo, but I could only find 2 boxes anywhere. Like, I think I looked at Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's, Shills. Can't remember where I actually found it. Maybe it was Cabela's in Lehi, Utah. So I bought it. Funny thing, when I was coming back from work in Wyoming on Wednesday evening, I called Sportsman's Warehouse in Provo. And I said, do you have any of this Berger Elite Hunter 140 grain? They said, no, but we have 3 boxes of the Berger Elite Hunter 156 grain. So I said, well, put that behind the counter. I'm going to come pick that up on my way home, so, which I did. But when I took that stuff out to Price, it would not load. It was like, I don't know if it was too long. I just couldn't get it to chamber. So, and I was able to fire some of it, and it was shooting tight groups, but I just, for the most part, like, just wouldn't cycle in the magazine. So I'm like, well, I can't do that. And I did have the 2 boxes of this 140 grain with me, So I knew exactly how much I needed for this competition. It was going to be, you shoot 3 shots at each stage. There's 4 stages, so 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 plus the 2 5-shot groups that you have to shoot to see which order you're going to go in. So that's 22, 12 plus 10, 22. I left Price with 24 rounds. But I still thought it was worth it. So, like, the rounds that I was able to fire, so with 2 boxes, you got 40 rounds. I think I shot 2 5-shot groups. Maybe I just shot 1. Or, 5 shots and then another 3 shots. I don't know if I had to move my turrets at all to get it perfect, but really, whatever I did end up doing, it was real close to point of aim, point of impact at 100 yards, and my groups were really good. I want to say I had a 5-shot group that was half an inch, and then I said I'll shoot another 3-shot group just to make sure, and those were like one big hole. It wasn't even big. It was amazing. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely going with this stuff. And so that, the rest of the ammo to get down to 24, I just shot at 1,000 and 800. And I know I shot at least 5 shots at 1,000, and I was hitting at 7 mils on the silhouette, like probably 4 or 5 times in a row. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to true. And then I was hitting maybe 0.1 or 0.2 below. Once I trued it for 1,000 yards at a 7 mil hit, I think it told me 5 or 5.1. I think it told me 5, maybe even 4.9, and I was hitting at 5.1, so or 5.2, so I just told myself I'd remember that and I'd use that. But I did think that 7 mils at 1,000 was a bit low. I thought it should have been more like 7.5 or so, but I just didn't think too much of it because, when you get 5 shots in a row at 7 on the silhouette, you're thinking, okay, I'm locked in. But again, it's a couple thousand feet higher in elevation. It's way hotter out there. Like, I'm sure when I was competing, it was probably around 55 degrees. So 30 degrees hotter, and you got about a 20-mile-an-hour tailwind. So I don't know, but what it ended up being was, so this is what happened. It ended up being 7.6 mils. And I don't know how I want to explain this because I'm sick and I'm so tired right now, but let's just say this. So what happened, and what got me the victory, was how well I did on the first stage. So I shot 2 half-inch groups, beat everybody with the lowest average group size, which is, 2 half-inch groups. I think one was a little over, one was a little under, but they were both very close to half an inch from what I measured. Because from what I was told, Jim's going to take those home, and it had rained the night before, like the wood was kind of soggy, and just wasn't a good situation for like doing an accurate measurement on that paper. Was pretty wet by the end of it. But apparently Jim's taking it home and going to measure it himself. I took a picture of it, then I used my calipers to get the ring, the 1-inch ring, right at 1 inch on my phone, and then I measured the groups. But I did it with the inside of the ring measuring 1 inch and the outside of the ring. So I got 2 different group sizes, and they were about 0.06 different in each other. I can't remember, but either way, they were a half-inch average pretty much. I think I got like 0.52 for one and 0.46 for the other, depending on whether or not you use the outside or the inside of the black ring, 1-inch ring. So moving on from the group. So I win that. I go first, and I hit, you got a 2 MOA, 1 MOA, and half MOA at each distance, and it's your kind of choice to strategize and kind of figure out what you think you can hit. You shoot at the targets you want to hit for the most points. So obviously like 3 points for the smallest, then 2 points for the 1 MOA, and 1 point for the 2 MOA target. So my whole philosophy or strategy was kind of like, you shoot at the 2 MOA to kind of make sure your dope is correct. And then knowing where you held versus where you hit, you can hold correctly for 1 MOA. And if you like where that hits, you could go for the smallest target. So that's exactly what I did. But here's the thing. They have a camera in your face and they put a mic on your clothing. So I had a hoodie, got a mic, got a camera in my face. Now that didn't really bother me, to be honest. I'm being 100% honest. It didn't bother me. What got me was Jim wanted everybody to talk. He's like, well, we want the competitors to talk. We want the person who's actually shooting maybe to give us a rundown of what they're doing while they're doing it. Well, that sounds good for the person running the channel, but if you're a competitor, it's probably not everybody can talk and do at the same time. I'm one of those people. I ran through the trauma lanes in the Special Operations Combat Medic course at Fort Bragg, and I hated talking to the instructors while I'm doing my trauma lanes. It's just more difficult for me to actually do something and then talk about what's happening, why I'm doing it, why I may not do something or why I'm doing something, or explaining how I'm doing it while I'm doing it. Just doesn't work for me. It's not the way my brain works. So I think throughout this competition, while I'm laying down competing there, I'm talking off and on, and I think that really threw me off on the final stage. So started out wonderful. Like I hit the 2 MOA, the 1 MOA, and the half MOA. I hit all 3 targets consecutively at 400 yards. So I hit the 8-inch, the 4-inch, and the 2-inch, and they're like, no one's ever done that before. I'm like, great. Hitting a 2-inch target at 400 yards you got to be really dialed in to do that. And I did do that, so I was feeling pretty good. The next distance was 600. I hit